Honor and shame are themes you've spent a lot of time exploring in your writing. You say that being told to go into hiding was a humiliation. What kind of toll did that take on you in the 11 years you spent underground?
Well, I mean, I think it was very tough. I think, I kept a journal throughout that time, and really I hadn't looked at it since. I hadn't really looked at it in a decade. And I went back, obviously, to read it before I wrote this book. And one of the things that's absolutely obvious reading it is that there are long passages of time when the person writing the journal is not in very good mental condition, and I think in a way at the time I was so absorbed in the day-to-day of it that I didn't realize until I look back on it now exactly how burdened by that pressure I was.
You weren't raised as a Muslim, but you were raised in Muslim culture. How are the ideas of honor and shame different in Muslim culture than in other religious cultures?
Well, it's one of the things I wrote about in my novel Shame and a bit since, including in this book, is that it seems to me that those two concepts, the concepts of honor and shame, are the kind of, if you like, the poles of the moral axis of that world. Unlike, in a Judeo-Christian world, you would have, or Christian world certainly, you would have guilt and redemption as the opposite poles of that axis. But those ideas are not central to Islam, whereas honor and shame are very powerful, not just in Islam, but in Eastern culture generally.
And if you're raised in a culture like that, it therefore has a very profound effect on you.
Yeah, I did notice during these years of, semi-invisibility that I felt very often ashamed of the way I was being asked to live. That it felt degrading and humiliating, and not, if you like, not honourable. To be living in this way. And I've noticed, people not from the East reading the book would often wonder why I was using those concepts. But why was that such an issue for me? And I think it's just because of where I grew up and those ideas that were, very important shaping ideas for me.